Hey, what is going on everybody? ArmchairTuna back again with another Grounded video, and in today's Grounded 2 video, I am going to be going over some weapon speculations. Now, this doesn't mean that this is specifically set for the weapons on the launch of Grounded 2. This could also mean some speculations for weapons that could come out in future updates for Grounded 2 as well. But before we get on to today's video, please make sure to like and subscribe as it'll help out a ton. And you might as well if you're coming back and you enjoy Grounded content and can't wait for Grounded 2. And let's get into today's video. And for the first weapon of today's video, it is going to be one-handed maces, specifically more one-handed maces. Now, we already know one-handed mace is coming out, which is the Ladybug mace, whatever you want to call it, that Max uses throughout pretty much the entirety of Grounded 2's reveal. But hopefully when the game launches and in future updates, there will be more one-handed maces to choose from, because in Grounded 1, there was only one-handed mace, and that was the Salt Morningstar. So hopefully in the future, we get more one-handed maces, and let's get on to the next weapon. So for the next weapon of today's video, it is going to be crossbows. Now, the main reason why I say that is because so far we haven't seen a singular crossbow, because so far out of all of the teasers we've gotten for Grounded 2, there's literally been no mention or even proof that the crossbow even exists in the game. And even the dedicated mutation to it, which is Sharpshooter, only states that it works with bows. It doesn't mention crossbows at all. So maybe on launch, crossbows won't be a thing, but maybe later down the line, maybe in the next update or two, crossbows will be added to the game, but we will just have to wait and see. So another weapon type that could be in Grounded 2 are going to be Great Spears. Now, we did see a spear in Grounded 2 so far, which is a red and black spear, but that spear was only one-handed, so this would be the perfect time to introduce a two-handed spear or a Great Spear. Now, we already did actually have this in Grounded 1 in the form of scrapped content, and this was actually related to the lizard boss, and the weapon you would craft after defeating the lizard boss would be called the Dragon's Lance, and it is this two-handed spear. Now, unfortunately, the Dragon's Lance was not finished at all. If you go to the Grounded Wiki and look at its stats, as you can see, it has very, very low damage for a tier 3 weapon, especially a two-handed one. So it's pretty clear that the two-handed spear was cut early on in development, but who knows, it might make a comeback inside of Grounded 2. And the next weapon we are going to talk about is once again another scrapped weapon, and this time it is going to be the Harpoon Gun. Now, the Harpoon Gun was originally supposed to be introduced with the Pond update all the way back inside of Grounded 1. However, it was scrapped because of the fact one of the other creatures that was supposed to come along with it was scrapped as well, and this creature is none other than the Leech. And as you see by this footage by Jade PG Crafted, shout out to him, you can actually see the leeches, but not only that, the harpoon gun as well. And the harpoon gun, as you can see, the animations are very, very wonky, as well as the leeches. The leeches animations are also pretty bad. But as you can see from the harpoon gun, it was essentially just a bow or crossbow, but underwater. It actually dealt fairly decent damage as well to the leeches, as you can see, as well as the fact that the harpoon gun would have actually fired bolts instead of arrows, as well as the bolts coming in a normal harpoon bolt, a bone harpoon bolt, and finally a venom harpoon bolt, being all of the ammo you could use for the harpoon gun. And with the map in Grounded 2 being 3 times the size of the map in Grounded 1, I would love to see all of the scrapped content from the original Pond in Grounded 1 being implemented into Grounded 2 in some way. Especially with the Harpoon Gun, I feel like the Harpoon Gun would make a perfect addition to the Pond in Grounded 2. And for the second to last weapon class I would like to talk about for today's video, it is going to be two-handed hammers or warhammers. Now, if you've guys been on my channel for a while, you will know that warhammers are my absolute favorite thing to use in any sort of game, or two-handed hammers. And in the Grounded 2 trailer, a two-handed pebblet hammer that was shown off quite a few times, so I cannot wait to see what other two-handed hammers could be inside of Grounded 2, as we do have a two-handed hammer in Grounded 1, but it's more of a club reskin instead of being an actual hammer, and the only actual other two-handed hammer is the salt chipper, but that's more of a pickaxe and not resembling a hammer, if that makes any sense. So I am just waiting to see if there are actually going to be more two-handed hammers besides the pebblet one, and possibly more warhammers. And the final weapon speculation I have for today's video is going to be colossal weapons. Now, I know what you all are thinking. Colossal weapons are way too big for the teens to obviously use as a weapon, but I would like to think otherwise, as in Grounded 1, and once again, this is in fact scrap content, we had the Dragonfly Slayer. Now, what's interesting about the Dragonfly Slayer's description is that it states, it's far too big to be called a sword, massive, thick, heavy, and far too chewy. Requires a large amount of guts to wield in battle. And what's also interesting is that this would have been classified as the first tier 4 weapon if it would have been actually implemented into the game, as well with its recipe being heavily unfinished, with it only being one gum nugget and one bee stinger, suggesting that it was probably scrapped early on in development. But surprisingly, there is actually some footage that I did find of it in its early stages. Now, this footage is by Sir Simalot, so make sure to go check him out. But as you can see in the footage, the damage and stun is essentially maxed out, and as he shows later on, the sword, and at the time, the sword swung really slow, as you can see in this footage here. So it would have been really interesting to see, you know, what the sword could have been in the future. And heck, maybe even the Dragonfly Slayer could inspire some other colossal weapons like a colossal hammer in the future. But that is going to be all for today's video. If y'all enjoyed these weapons, please make sure to like and subscribe, as it'll help me out a ton. And I will see you all later. Peace.